Amazon says its Prime Day shopping event that wrapped up yesterday was a huge success. The online retail giant sold millions of items on its website, and the two-day sale was also a big boost to a lot of other businesses. According to Adobe Analytics, other retailers saw a 68% increase in online sales during the 48 hours that Prime Day was going on. Joining us now to talk more about the impact of Prime Day is Taylor Schreiner with Adobe Digital Insights. Taylor, thanks for your time today. So what did you see in terms of the halo effect for other retailers?
We saw through Adobe Analytics a couple things that we'd expected, but still were bigger than we might have thought. First of all, one open question going into Amazon Prime Day is, would 2 full Prime days really still work out? And with large retailers seeing over 60–70% lifts in that time frame, it's clear that consumers were willing to stay for the full 2 days and keep shopping. We also saw, and this is different than last year and the prior years, that smaller companies, so the companies with under, say, $1 billion in annual revenue, also saw significant lifts, not as big as the large firms, but they too were able to capitalize on the halo effect of Prime Day. And furthermore, we saw that consumers stuck with this Prime Day event for the full 48 hours. The first day was really characterized by a lot of consumers showing up, spending a lot of money, and then the second day was maybe fewer consumers, but if you'll forgive the pun, they were more primed for those opportunities to make some purchases. And so the more focused shoppers were really there on the second day to keep sales high.
So yeah, they did their browsing, it sounds like, on the first Prime Day, and then a lot of folks went back on day 2 and pulled the trigger on a lot of those items that they'd been looking at. In terms of the other retailers who came out on top here during Prime Days, who were some of the big winners?
Well, for reasons of privacy and data management, we don't talk about individual retailers. But what I can tell you is that the retailers who were pushing smartphones, smart items. So if you were out there as a shopper buying a smartphone, a smart watch, a smart television, those had some of the deepest discounts. So from a consumer perspective, those were the biggest opportunities. For retailers, what characterized the real winners were companies that already had really good relationships with their consumers. So companies that were able to email you, reach out to you, and you would respond and didn't feel like it was spam. With the ones that you felt like you had a relationship with, they were able to get their deals out there in front of consumers, and the consumers were able to respond to that directly.
And it seems like, especially this year, you had a lot of those other retailers making a concerted effort to piggyback off of Prime Day. I mean, did you see that more this year than you have in years past?
Absolutely. We started tracking this back in 2015 when this all began, and I think retailers in general at that point had a wait-and-see attitude, or at the very least, they didn't know what to look for. But now that we're 4 years on, every retailer has a strategy around Prime Day. Some of them are sitting it out. They don't want to lower their prices. Some of them are piggybacking for the full 2 days. Some of them are trying to differentiate themselves with different kinds of shipping, countdown clocks, different rotations of offers. But they're all playing in the space and taking advantage of this created retail event, which let's all remember that 5 years ago, there was no reason that you might go shopping online on the 15th or 16th of July. It wasn't a big deal, and Amazon has managed to create this multi-billion-dollar event for itself and for other retailers out of whole cloth.
All right, so 2 Prime Days worked out really well. Next year, do we see a 3rd Prime Day? What's going to happen?
My team gets up at 4 in the morning every Prime Day, so I'm incentivized not to say do it for 3. But
you guys would be very busy.
Consumers have stuck with it for the full 48 hours, and there's no reason to think that another day wouldn't extend that a little bit more.
All right, well, we have to leave the conversation here. Taylor Schreiner with Adobe Digital Insights. Thanks for coming on.